much. I guess we'll try the microphone and pass it around and see how that works. But don't wait for the microphone to pipe up, okay? If you got something to say, we want to hear it. Several years ago, my dad and I were watching Saving Private Ryan, and after watching that movie, he told me a story that I hadn't heard for 50 years. I'd always known that his brother Billy had died in World War II, but never really known the circumstances. And as he told him, so it was one of those things, he just didn't talk about it. He always kept a picture of his brother by his bedside, as far as as long as I knew him. But Billy was a flyer on a B-17. The plane was shot down, landed on the island of Borkum, just off the coast of the German mainland. And the 7 flyers were captured. They should have gone into POW camp and been released, but the people of Borkum marched them through the town, beat them up, kicked and shovels, smacked them, and then killed them, shot them dead. It was a war crimes trial. Afterward, where everybody heard about it, and as difficult as it had to be for the flyers, my dad also told me about his mother, who got the word that he was missing. This was before anybody knew what really had happened on Borkum, and she kept the secret. She didn't tell her husband, and she didn't tell my father for a year. Just kept that in herself, and then finally the whole thing came out. It just reminds me of the service that you had, and how much everybody who was in this country, whether they were in the service or not, contributed to this incredible, one of America's greatest moments. So it's really it's an honor for me to spend some time with all of you and hear your stories. These are memories that really need to be kept, that really need to be preserved, so for generations to come we know what this country did and what it achieved. So I'd like to start by just going around and asking each of you, tell us where you were and what you did during the war. Chuck?
I was in Germany that's where I landed and did all my duties there. And, and that's where I got hurt. How far you...
Mm-hmm.
I was wounded real bad, and I tried to get up, and there was nothing under me. So I just stayed, and I waited for the medics. They came, and I was hauled into the medics. It was just an old schoolhouse, which was converted to a hospital. There we stayed until we heard a lot of bombing and shelling coming. So out we went. Well, in a litter, and Germans were packing us in and pulling us out, and it was quite a affair, and that I will never forget.
This was in Hirchen, am I
No,
pronouncing it?
this was in Germany, right before we were making an attack, and I just. They were on one side of the road and I was on the other.
Like literally across the road.
Right. I could hear them digging in and they could hear us. They threw one mortar at me and they just did it. And
this was in one of the longest battles in Europe?
Well, for me it was. And after that I just went through one camp to another until I got on a train and they took it back to, well, actually I went to Paris, and that's where I stayed, and I had some kind of a pneumonia at that because of what happened to me. And there they cured me, and they found that Loyola University was stationed at this hospital. The hospital was Bonjou Hospital in Paris. And then from there, we went to England, and we flew to England. And I stayed there until the spring when the sun was out, and they took us back on the hospital ship back to the United States. And that all happened in 1944, the day I got hurt. 1944, November 4th. It's almost coming to my anniversary.
Yeah.
And from then on, I just went from one hospital to the other until I finally found myself back in Percy Jones, Battle Creek, Michigan. There that was operated for the second time on each leg to take all the, well, it didn't look too good, but the way they fixed you up, it turned out great. They sewed us up and they put us back in shape and put legs on us and took off. And that's...
Do you recall when you were injured, did you think, I'm not getting out of this? Were you rescued immediately?
Oh, I thought I was finished, really, I did. I just didn't know what to believe. I mean, there was nothing around. All I had was this one buddy of mine that did, all he had was a telephone wire back to the lines. And that's the only thing he had to get me out of there. And when they came and they looked at my wounds, they didn't give me a good picture. And so that's when they took us back. I remember one hospital, the 49th station. There they gave me a guillotine cut. They took all the, well, it was all shattered. So that was not worth saving, so they just took that all. And that was it for that. But I went from hospital.
He just the one guy, he got you out?
Yeah, the one guy got me out. He was just another soldier.
Yeah.
He seen what happened and he acted.
And that was a mortar round?
A mortar that hit me.
But he wasn't injured, so
No,
he
he
was,
wasn't.
but he saw what happened. And
It just hit me. And it hit so close, that's all it did was took off my legs. It was only about a foot. I could smell the powder and everything else that you could
yeah.
imagine. But that's the story of that. There's so many battles that I was in that you need a book.
We'll come back.